When you look around the park, do you see anyone you think you hang out with on a good day?
Those two people right there.
The two old couples. Any particular reason why?
A lot of people are scared to get old. You know, they always say, I don't want to get old. I think whenever you get old, it's going to be awesome. I feel like being an old person is the illest shit ever, because I feel like you finally have an understanding of the world around you, and then you could just take your time to just sit there. You see them, they're not even talking to each other. True love exists when two people can just enjoy silence together, and you don't always got to ruin and pollute, life with words and stupid conversation.
My ex-boyfriend of 6 years. The last year of our relationship, I started cheating on him with a guy in LA.
Was he cheating on you too, or?
He's a good boy.
Why did you cheat on your 6-year relationship?
I was so bored and so young.
So her life has been completely dedicated for 45 years to solitary retreat, to the recitation of the mantra, and all directed toward the well-being of all sentient beings, almost like her heart, just spreading compassion.
Yes. It all boils down to our own mind, the quality and the nature of our mind.
This is the most powerful thing that can be done. Surrender.
Because you see, in tying up love in knots and becoming incapable of it, you can destroy this energy. When you won't love and you won't let it out, the thing comes out in the form of self-destruction. The alternative to self-love, in other words, is self-destruction. Because you won't take the risk of loving yourself properly, you will be compelled instead to destroy yourself.
Welcome back to another deep dive within the mind with your Valentines. I know it's been a minute since I post, but I am a very introspective person, and I really want to take my time to deliver valuable content to my viewers, okay? I want to make sure that what I'm posting is actually making you think for better and becoming better human beings, so that we promote a better society that we can all partake in. All right. And I started reflecting on this question. Why did I start my YouTube channel? Did I start this just to have another thing for my ego to claim that I've conquered? Or did I start this to actually spread value? I was facing a case of imposter syndrome, and I had to consult my inner guru, my intuitive self that knows all answers of what my life should play out to be. And this is what he had to say.
Come closer. What is the sound of one hand clapping?
I don't know. What is the sound of what?
I was a medic out in New York City, dashing through traffic, saving lives, hooking up IVs and EKGs, and I learned so much about human nature while I was in the field of medicine. Through this field, I've gained knowledge of my anatomy, I've gained knowledge of my heart, my health, and all the things that run my body, and all the things that could go wrong. And I've gained knowledge of what to do in an emergency situation. If somebody were to go unresponsive, if someone were to be choking, if someone were to be delirious, have like AMS, altered mental status, anything were to happen out of the ordinary, I would know how to respond to it. I've had like over 1 million patients. So that means I have patience. And out of those millions of patients, I would say a good handful of them, like 5 or 10 of them, actually know their medical information. The rest of them, they are oblivious as to what's going on with them. Like I asked them what medications, they're like, I don't know. I asked them, why do you take them? I don't know. They just follow what the man in the white coat tells them to take. Now, I'm not against medication. There's medicine out here like metformin that helps diabetic patients. There's a lot of things that the medical industry have come through with medicine that is greatly helping people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, we should completely ditch that. But you also have to understand that the health medicine field is also a business. What do we know about businesses? They prioritize profit over the people. This might be a little bit dangerous territory when you're dealing with health, when you're dealing with medicines, when you're dealing with people's body. Now, this guy, he's a former pharmaceutical representative that appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast. And I want you to listen to what he has to say about how pharmaceutical companies play tricks to gain profit.
The goal of a company and a rep is to grow the market and to hit the number. And so when you go out, it's like, how do you grow the market? Well, we're going to grow the patient demographic. We're going to have to grow. We need the doctors to write more of this. So what they did with OxyContin was they went out and started. It got to a point where they were literally promoting it for people with migraines, and they were pumping these pain pills into all these practices.
Was this before or after it had been proven that it was highly addictive?
They knew it was highly addictive based off the study. So the family that owned OxyContin is one of the richest families in the country. They're up there with the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. Illuminati. They made all of their wealth in the 1960s by creating the Valium pandemic. They launched Valium into the marketplace, told people that it was non-addictive, non-abusive, grew the market. They were writing Valiums for headaches, Valiums for knee, shoulder, elbow pain, and it created they went under governmental investigation. The government ended up investigating the family in the 60s and then jumped forward. They get off, they buy their way out of that, jump forward, the cotton system was expiring. So what they did is they looked at their revenues and they're like, we're fucked. Like we won't hit our numbers. We can't continue these growth trajectories unless we get a new patent on a new pain med. So they went out and they said, what else is out there that we could put into our patented delivery system? And the answer was Oxy. The other thing that happened is they went to the FDA, and this is where there's a lot of fuckery. They literally met with the head of the FDA at the time, after hours, at a hotel. This is all documented now. And he helped them draft their application, then rubber stamped it and pushed it through and gave OxyContin the golden fucking ticket. He put in the label that OxyContin is less likely to be addictive or abusive compared to other opioids in the market. And then you give a rep that and you set them out in a marketplace and you give them a $20,000 a month expense account and you have them taking guys to dinner, drinking wine and eating steaks, and they show in the label, hey, we're less addictive. This is a safe drug. We've got to stop pain. This isn't just anymore for the cancer patient. This is anybody in your practice who has pain. We're on a mission to stop pain.
Those who do not know pain will never understand true peace.
And all of them started getting addicted. I mean, it was rampant. The system was trash.
Would you eat food from a person that doesn't clean their hands, that doesn't sanitize, that doesn't wash up, that doesn't do any cleanliness, that doesn't pay attention to the details? Would you eat food from someone who doesn't care about how the food will affect you? No, right? You wouldn't want to eat food from somebody who doesn't wash their hands. We used to be getting calls from this one particular area one time, and people were always reporting like they were getting stomach aches, and it was a case of food poisoning. But they were getting food from the specific truck stand, and it was later found out that this person from this truck stand, there was cases of fecal matter within his food. If you don't know what that is, it's basically poop. There's poop within his food, which means this person wasn't washing their hands after they wiped, and it got into some of the food, and most of the customers ate it. Oh my God! Shame on the food truck driver, man.
Move this man!
I'm not saying that all food truck driver stands are like this, but hey, man, I might not, eat there ever. But like, shame on that person. Shame on that man, because that person didn't care about the people that he was serving. He didn't care about that. He just was like, oh, it's just food. Ugh. Ugh. Here's your sandwich, buddy. And that's just a small example of when profits are prioritized over the people. The food truck stand guy, he's probably just thinking, I just need to make money. And he's not thinking, how am I serving the community? The difference between the two thought processes is that one will actually take their time to make sure they're serving properly, and the other mentality is rushing the process just to get to their own selfish objective. Imagine that mentality taking care of your grandma in the hospital. Imagine that mentality taking care of you when you get sick. Right? They're just rushing the process just to get to their own objective, their own selfish, I got to meet the quota. And this is what's known as medical malpractice, when the practitioner is rushing through the process of proper patient care just to get to like clock out. There was another time in US history where the US government used medical malpractice against my people.
They were told they'd get treated for their bad blood. Instead, hundreds of poor black men became participants unknowingly in a shocking and truly shameful chapter of American medical history. In 1932, the United States Public Health Service launched an unethical research project to examine the effects of untreated syphilis. The project was called the Tuskegee Study because it recruited 600 black men living in Tuskegee, Alabama. Researchers told the men that they were being treated for bad blood, a term used locally to describe anything from fatigue to anemia. They promised the men free medical treatment if they participated. While 2/3 of the men in the study were confirmed to have syphilis, not one received proper treatment for the disease they had contracted.
So this was a study in which there was no consent on the part of those who were being studied, also deception on the part of the U.S. government.
When penicillin became the recommended treatment for syphilis in the 1940s, Tuskegee researchers scandalously withheld the drug from the men in the study so that they could continue to chart the course of the disease when untreated. Many patients experienced damage to their vital organs and nervous systems, and for some, the lack of treatment led to death.
The great shame of the study is that the men thought that they were being treated. Treatment was withheld from them, even after it was very clear what kind of medical treatment would cure them of syphilis.
In 1972, an Associated Press article exposed the Tuskegee study after one of the participants brought the story to a civil rights attorney. Only then, after 40 years, was the study brought to an end.
And this is what irks me to the core of my soul. The fact that an authority figure, right, can come in and dupe someone who perceives them or someone who trusts in them, leading them along, telling them that they're curing them, that they're helping them, that they're healing them. They're telling them, hey, we're helping, just trust us, just trust the process. All the while, they're just sitting there observing the natural progression of the disease within their body because they want to see how it plays out. They don't actually care about getting these men to better health. They only cared about conducting an experiment and using these men as guinea pigs. It's not a conspiracy. That is something that completely happened, totally happened. It's not a conspiracy. So, you know, we can't really talk about the other thing because I almost got my channel obliterated for even mentioning the CV-19. I understand why I am motivated to start this channel, to have this message, to spread a message of truth, awareness, and consciousness, because there's a lot of fuckery that's going on in that healthcare industry. There's a lot of stuff where people are giving blind trust to others that don't even value their lives. People were the most condescending, most intimidated. Like, they wanted to have this holier than thou, like, oh, you're not vaccinated? Are you some type of tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist? Huh. Where you are beneath us. You know, like, people had this ego about them, and it was like this whole war versus vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, and then it was like masked versus unmasked, and it was this division, this strong division that was within the country, just strong hatred for each other. This person hating that person because they didn't make a medical decision with their body, and it was just, and all of that infighting when we were in a state of crisis. Understand this. The people that pull the strings don't want you to care about life. They don't want you to care about your health. They don't want you to value your energy. I have a saying that's written on this wall right behind me. You know, I create my own hieroglyphs. I guess that's what you call it, hieroglyphs. But I have that on the wall. And what it reads is, if your why isn't strong enough to make you cry, the price of dedication is too high. And this is what makes me cry, is when I don't have the strength to protect the ones that I love. and all I can do is just watch hopelessly. That's what makes me cry. I don't want to be a hopeless victim. I don't want to be that. I want to be a person that stands up and says, no, you will not treat me like this. And what I mean by strength, it's more than just physical, right? It's more than just physical. Because now we are in the day and age of technology. You have to have mental strength, mental fortitude, okay? And you have to develop that through emotional discipline, through emotional practices, through spiritual practices. So that's why I do this, okay? I do this so that I can spread the mental strength, the mental fortitude that we all need. I love you, babies. Take care.
I'm tired of being the victim of shame. You're throwing me in a class with a bad name. I can't believe this is the land from which I came. You know I really don't hate to see it. The government don't wanna see it. But if Roosevelt was living, he wouldn't let this be. No, skinhead, deadhead, everybody gone bad. Situation, speculation, everybody litigation. Beat me, bash me, you can never trash me.